The former president of the United States just literally said in an interview that he's rooting for an economic fallout in the next 12 months because it would hurt Biden's chances to become president. And that means he has no care whatsoever if there was an economic upheaval and how it would affect the 330 million Americans that reside in this country. I understand rooting against things like I root against the Red Sox. I root against the Eagles or the Cowboys. Me rooting against them doesn't change anything. No one's adversely affected by my not liking those particular teams. Donald Trump is hoping for an economic downturn, which is what we got when he was president. Joe Biden replaced all the jobs that Trump lost and added more. Trump ran our economy into the ground. He was handed a perfectly functioning economy, and then, trade wars with China, losing farm subsidies, fucking around with the gas, separating people at the border, being a horrible human being. The 2017 tax cut I'm still paying for. My taxes went up again this year. 2003 again. And Exxon just made $9 billion. How much they're going to pay in taxes? Donald Trump's responsible for that. The Republican Party is responsible for that. The 2001 and 2004 tax cuts by George Bush, trickle-down economics by Ronald Reagan, removing funding to go into Social Security that we're now going to pay for in 2034 because the GOP and the Democratic Party did nothing to solve that problem in the interim. Ronald Reagan moved the corporate tax from 75% to 28% in 1984. So to make up those taxes, you and I have been paying them, not corporations. That's why their profits are so nice. It's because they're not paying taxes. And here we are flipping the bill. Education is $140 billion underfunded nationwide. My state of Florida spends a little bit more than $10,000 a year per pupil. $8,000 of that comes from the Department of Education. And 161 GOP congressmen and women last year voted to eliminate the Department of Education. Without the Department of Education, that would be $2,000 for education per pupil in Florida. I think there's a connection on GOP policy and real life implications for people. Ask Kay Cox in Texas, who could possibly lose her ability to have children in the future because Ken Paxton and the Small Penis Brigade in Texas wanted to make sure she couldn't have an abortion for a non-viable child. She could have died. She could lose her ability to have children again, and she wants to grow her family. But this is what happens when you allow people who are not doctors to make laws about women based on a book that was written. See, the Hebrew calendar has it at 5,800, something like that. So that's 3,800 before Common Era, or the book has been perpetually rewritten, and for the large majority of time, it was only rewritten by men who were religious. So the Hebrews for the Old Testament until Christianity, which was around 100 CE, which is the Common Era, or Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, or AD, that's when Christianity starts. And it is under the control of the Holy Roman Catholic Church, and is copied by hand repeatedly. Don't tell me there weren't mistakes made. Less than 1% of the population was literate. Well less than 1%. And this is the book you're using to make sure women stay alive? Kay Cox could have died. Vote blue. Vote true to save the lives of women.